Honorable Men Discord. Brooklyn native killed whilst participating in a basketball tournament in Harlem. Let's talk about it.
How you see yourself is how you perceived. I see a man strong, gifted, head strapping, never down on his knees, begging. Gotta make a way, even in my darkest hour. Say the odds against me was new. I would never cower.
As always, welcome back to another episode. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend to tell a friend. I drop episodes daily at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Beside me is the news report about the incident. 3 individuals at the basketball tournament were hit with gunfire. Unfortunately, one of them lost their life at the time of this recording. So let me get into this news report, and I have a few other things queued up, and I'll talk about it further. Let's get into it.
This morning, police are still searching for a gunman after a former college basketball star was shot and killed in Harlem.
This happened Friday night during a basketball tournament. Noelle Lilly joins us live from Harlem with more details about the investigation and, of course, reaction from this heartbroken community. Noelle.
Heartbroken is the word for it, Aziza and Natalie. And unfortunately, this is not the first time a tragedy like this has happened. Last summer, multiple people were shot at a community basketball game at Haffen Park up in the Bronx. Now today, multiple community organizations who do this work and people from within the hoops community have been speaking out online and calling for an end and a solution for this violence. They're asking for things like more security and bad checks. Now, Keanu Rochford was only 35 years old, and he was well known here in the basketball community. This morning, police are still here in the aftermath of the tragedy that took Keanu's life. He also played overseas professionally. Officers found him on Friday with a gunshot wound to his head during the opening night of the Kingdom basketball tournament here at 70 Lenox Avenue. 2 other people were also shot but are in stable condition at last check. Now, no arrests have been made as of today, but the shooting leading Mayor Mamdani to call for an end to the, quote, senseless violence. He posted on X yesterday saying that his office is working with community partners to support those affected. We spoke to Rochford's mother, who says he was one of triplets and loved the game of basketball.
He was a joy, and he'll always be a joy. He just loved basketball. He graduated from college. He went overseas and played ball. Now it's summertime. He just plays in the summer tournaments. Unfortunately, he was in the wrong place.
As you heard from his mother there, Keanu was well known in the community and in basketball. He also played college basketball at Fairleigh Dickinson University in New Jersey. He was also making a difference in the lives of New Yorkers here in the city. He worked as an intake coordinator at a shelter in Brooklyn. So this is really just a loss to the whole city. And of course, the grieving will continue here as police search for the person responsible. Aziza, Natalie.
Noelle, thank you so much.
I'm disappointed. I'm actually disgusted. Rest in peace, Keanu. Rest in peace, and my condolences to his family, friends, anybody who knew him. This man lost his life playing basketball, a game that he loved. And it's crazy because scrolling to see that man laying on the court like that, people holding up their phones, recording, for somebody to post that on the internet, you had no thought about his family, no thought about the people who love him, no thought about how that might cause somebody to feel or react. Secondly, if you have an issue with somebody, beefing with somebody, do not pull out a gun and think to shoot them. Y'all don't even think to fight it out anymore. Y'all don't even think to get it shaken. Y'all just automatically think, let me take this nigga life, which is crazy to me. It's crazy. This is so sad that I'm hearing that they don't even have the shooter. They don't have the shooter. And there's so many people that were out there last night. Say something to the police. That's not snitching. And if you do consider it snitching, so be it. There was too many people out there, too many people that saw 3 people get shot. Because yes, 3 people got shot. He's the one that lost his life, but 3 people got shot. It could have potentially been 3 people who have lost their lives. And you know what's crazy? We having all these conversations about white people killing us. Well, we got to stop being our own enemy. We got to stop killing each other. It's no reason this man is dead. It's no reason. This is so sad, but also it's too familiar because this is not the first time it's been a shooting at an event like this. And I just want my people to do better, for real. I want my people to do better and let people have fun. Let people enjoy the things that they love to do. Everything don't have to end in a shooting. Harlem, I am disappointed.
She's disappointed, and I'm going to say something as a grown man. I absolutely detest the hood. I detest the hood. I detest the hood. I can't stand the hood. I would like those of you who love the hood to list all the good things about the hood. List all the pros about the hood. And I'll help you start that list. We can start the list with affordable apartments, because no one really wants to live there. All right? You can say 24-hour bodegas, but you can find that in other parts of New York City. And this episode is for New York City residents. Obviously, those of you that don't live in New York, you have your own areas that have low-income housing. But I detest it, not because I think I'm better than, but the everything about the hood, the ignorance, the promotion of our worst versions live in the hood. It's personified versions of the worst version of melanated people is personified in the hood. And I'm not saying all people that live in the hood are horrible people. That is not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. And I believe those people, the working class people in the hood, those people that do not promote ignorance, do not raise their families with ignorance, they would agree with me. Would they agree with me publicly? Maybe not, because they're still living in the hood. But I can't stand the hood. I can't stand the hood. There's no reason why you can't play basketball without being shot in the head. Now, I don't know if there were sufficient officers around. I don't know if the person was brazen enough to do it with officers at the perimeter of the park. I have no idea what was going on over there. But this is exactly why the best advice I can give anyone that lives in the hood is, if you know you are in a position to leave the hood, do not just stay in the hood because rent's cheap. And I know you might say, well, I'm not going to spend the type of rent that New York is asking for. Well, then you have decisions to make. But staying in the hood, it just makes no sense. It makes no sense. I would bust my ass to pay rent outside of the hood just for the peace of mind of not living in the hood. And you have to ask yourself, if you're not willing to do that, you're willing to sacrifice your safety, your kids' safety, your family members' safety for cheap rent, then, don't be teary-eyed if, unfortunately, your loved one is a victim of the hood. Because, again, me saying I denounce the hood, I don't like the hood, is not me judging the hood in all of its residents entirely. It's those that are in the hood that tear it down, that vandalize property, vandalize structures, vandalize cars, break into cars. And it's not just the junkies, the quote-unquote junkies that are doing this. New York City, we know that in the Bronx, a big thing is the Honda cars, people taking people's tires, rims, catalytic converters, so on and so forth. But this is just disgusting. But these things are happening in the quote-unquote hoods. This is not me saying it. This is not, you get off your high horse. Again, this is not about me speaking from a place of I'm better than. This is for me just tired of seeing situations like this. There's no reason why he left Brooklyn to play basketball in a Harlem tournament, and he has to leave this earth that way. There's no reason. It's just plain disgusting. I saw a separate video, separate topic. A gentleman was talking about how unkept his particular neighborhood was by the younger people of the neighborhood. And it's not just the young people, by the way, but his plight was the younger people weren't upkeeping the place, just throwing trash all over the place. And I couldn't help but notice in the news report, and I have another video towards the end, the amount of trash. And you might say, well, it's a social gathering, barbecues and stuff like that. No one, the hood mentality is throw things all over on the ground, but then you have an attitude as though you deserve better. Not everybody in the hood believes they deserve better. That's another thing. It's the domino effect of ignorance and just self-pity at times. It's giving up on life. And again, this is not everyone in the hood. So if you know you're the person that's in the hood that's working your best to do the best for your family, this does not apply to you. This does not apply to those people that are doing their best. And if their best is living in the hood, this does not apply to you. This applies to those people around you who don't respect the properties. Pissing in elevators, pissing on staircases, throwing trash everywhere, graffiti inside the buildings, outside the buildings. You know, when I was younger, these things were like a New York staple. Now, I used to love, and I still do, I love real art. You know, I love the graffiti that used to be on handball courts, you know, tags and stuff like that. That's not art. But, you know, when I was younger, I took part in tagging. Not full time, but I used to tag here and there. But that was adolescence ignorance. Now, I understand maybe this incident with Keno was by his life was taken by an adolescent. I don't know. I can't confirm that. They haven't found that person at the time of this recording. But as an adult, I can't help but to see things like this, especially an adult with a channel. I can't help but to see these things and not speak against it. I normally try not to do local New York news. I know I did cover the Knicks, but that's different. That became national. But I try not to cover New York news because unfortunately these type of things are happening too often, too frequently. But then I would be a hypocrite not to talk about something like this, and yet I'm talking about Carmelo Anthony, or yet I'm talking about Nolan Wells. All right, and this young lady, she was correct in what she said, you know, and black people hate to hear this, especially in the comment section. But we have to be accountable for it. Someone has to be accountable for it. Someone who's mature, who actually considers themselves a mature adult, needs to say something about it. All right, we can't just speak on injustices across the world and then get upset when people in the comment section are talking about black on black crime, and that triggers us to want to just attack them in the comment sections. Yes, they're ignorant for saying certain things, but look what's going on. You can't even have a basketball tournament with residents of the neighborhood. Now, all those residents aren't guilty of what took place. It's possible they could have actually had a basketball tournament and everyone could have went home safely. It's always a small percentage that chooses to take out their aggression or seek get back in public spaces. Those people I completely detest. I think it's disgusting. And the resolution, honestly, I don't have a resolution for the hood. The hood's going to always be there. It's always going to continue because the hood is a mentality. Hood mentality is a mentality. Throwing trash all over your residence where you live, you go home, where you have family come over for the holidays, that's on you. If you're not teaching your family to clean up after themselves, then if you can't take pride in what you have, don't expect more in life. That's the mentality that I've grown to know. I don't know if everyone that's watching this shares that mentality, but if you as a community can't get it together, you don't deserve to leave the hood. And again, I'm not speaking to those of you that live in the hood that are doing your best. This does not apply to you. This applies to those that throw trash all over the place, that breed children with no manners, no respect for human life, taking lives at basketball games. It wouldn't matter where you're taking lives. There was an innocent grandmother, I think, last year who lost her life somewhere in Harlem. She was standing near a bodega, if not in front of the bodega. You know, the stories go on and on. I cover them so often, but again, I don't like covering necessarily New York topics because these type of events are happening all across the states, and it's just disgusting. I denounce it fully. My only contradiction is I still love rap music, and some of the lyrics within rap music, it puts me in a place where I'm contradicting myself because I'm enjoying the music on one hand, and some of the lyrics in the music is the same buffoonery that's taking place in the hood. And for that reason, I'm speaking out against it, and I'm acknowledging the fact that my love for rap music at times causes a contradiction. But I will say, in real life, I denounce the hood. Anyone that salutes the hood, again, I expect to see you in the comment section telling me all the wonderful things about the hood. All right? And make sure you also acknowledge the fact that In the Hood has the things that I mentioned. There's a groups of people that don't take care of the property as if they live there alone, and there aren't other families that want a clean property. I mean, is it too much to have a clean environment? Is it too much to respect your neighbor? Is it too much to enjoy late night basketball on a summer night without someone losing their life, without people taking camera phones out recording? I came across the video of this young man's body on the basketball court, and I did not post it out of respect for his family and out of self-respect, because I thought about it. I said, why would I put that up there? A part of me was going to put it up just to show you that these things are real. This is not just, he's not just a name that we cover, that I cover, I should say, not we, that I cover on this channel just for the sake of an episode. This is to address people, or people like the people that took his life, and address you directly on how much I detest that type of behavior. Because there's no reason why someone who was just either taking part in basketball or showed up to watch a game of basketball, there's no reason why he should have been laying on the basketball court. For the person who recorded the video during that time when everyone was moving all their stuff out of the stands, I looked at his page, and he seems to be, he may be 20 at most. So I don't really expect much out of someone at that age, because at that age, you're not thinking clearly. You're really not. All right. If it was someone older, then I would have definitely held them to a higher standard. But unfortunately, I'm just being realistic. The person who uploaded the video of Kinu on the floor in the basketball court didn't even look like they were 20 years old yet. All right. And it was a bunch of videos of the person dancing for TikTok. All right. With that being said, Kinu, rest in peace. I'm going to continue playing these other videos that I have queued up, but the hood has to do better. Oh, and let me go back to what I said. The solution is, if you can afford to get out of the hood, just get out of the hood. The hood is not going to change. Not because I don't believe it's going to change, because the reality is, until the mindset of the people that live in the hood that are destroying the hood change, it's never going to change. Until the music changes, which is never going to change, it's not going to change. Because that's profitable music. Those type of songs that promote the drill and the gang life, it's not going to change because it's profitable. And then unfortunately, we have people in the hood that root for that type of music and push it at the forefront. I just did an episode about Indiari speaking out against Young Miami's song, and I don't know how anyone feels about it because I didn't have anyone in the comment section about that. But everything goes hand in hand. The stuff that you promote in basically the stuff that you promote, it reflects in your lifestyle also, because in some ways you're highlighting songs like that, and your behavior is emulating that what you listen to. These things go hand in hand. But again, rest in peace, Kinu. Turns out he was a triplet. This type of stuff is just disgusting. It really is. And if I sound passionate about this, it's because I am passionate about it. I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted with people that glorify this. For what reason are you glorifying this type of behavior? For what reason are you recording that person on the floor? Just think about it. One day, if that, God forbid, happens to you, you would not want somebody recording you laid out lifeless for your family to see on social media, for your friends to see on social media. But yet you did that. Again, I'm giving that young person a pass because he looked like he wasn't even 20 years old. He could have been maybe 15 years old, who pulled out his phone and recorded that brother on the floor, but this is disgusting. The solution is to leave the hood.
This was supposed to be a lit summer. This was supposed to be a great move summer. The Knicks had just won the championship. But when the New York summer basketball tournament just started, a good friend of mine that I met last year through my boy Charles, a father, a brother, a pillar in the basketball community, was killed by a coward. What I see now is people taking my brother's story, this young man that was 35 years old, that played professional basketball, are trying to turn him into memes, trying to make jokes and trying to make fun of him, saying things like above the rim. Of course, we got the racists saying, oh, see, this always happens in their community. It's always in the black community. And then you have black people agreeing with it and then making content saying, yeah, see, we got to stop killing each other. It's black on black crime. When are we going to stop doing this? Let me explain something to each and every one of y'all, right? There's no such thing as black on black crime. Stop pushing that statistic and stop pushing that racist narrative and stop dehumanizing us like we're bad people. A man's life was taken, and it was taken by a coward. There's evil in every culture. There's evil in every race. It's not just in the black community, and I'm tired of hearing that shit. He was taken away from his family. He was taken away from his son, and he was taken away from his girlfriend and his mother and his 2 siblings. Y'all will not play with that brother's name. He helped the homeless. He helped children. He helped anybody that was in need of anything. That's how much of a good man he was. Respect him, respect his family, and please, with all this racial narratives, no, it's not a black on black thing. It has nothing to do with him being black. It was a human being that was killed by a disgusting human being, which can happen to anybody. Anybody. But it's quiet for me this summer. I'm not taking no pictures this summer for nobody. Man, this was supposed to be a lit summer.
All right, again, rest in peace to the brother. Do I fully agree with this gentleman? No. Black on black crime, whatever term you want to give it, wouldn't matter. It happened in the hood. Now, if you don't like me saying the hood, maybe he wouldn't like me saying hood. He probably, the black on black crime, calling it the hood. We get caught up in the wrong things. Does crime happen across the world? Absolutely. Is war happening now in the world? Absolutely. But are basketball tournaments shot up like this in other neighborhoods? No, they are not. So let's not get caught up on getting mad because someone said black on black crime. Let's not get caught up on whether I say the hood, because whatever name you want to give it that name, but take ownership for the fact that in certain neighborhoods, in certain communities of black and brown people, especially low income, the behavior is disgusting. And we're not just talking about shootings, like I said. We're talking about the way the neighborhood is upkept. And no one else is doing it but black and brown people. Some. We're not saying all. We are not saying all. But someone has to be accountable for it. And these neighborhoods, regardless if you put a term on it, when you go to these neighborhoods, all the things that I mentioned is evident. The lack of respect for the property that you live in. You can't even respect, and this is for the ignorant people tearing down the neighborhoods, you can't even respect the neighborhood that you live in. You don't even respect that half of the time the staff that's cleaning up these neighborhoods are black and brown people cleaning up the neighborhoods. You don't care about them. You trash the place. These people have to clean it up after you, and then you trash it again on top of that. Listen, I don't care if no one likes what I'm saying in this episode. I stand on it 10 toes down. I will not delete this episode, nor do I ever delete any of my episodes. I stand on this position, and I'm speaking like this because I'm that disgusted. You couldn't give me a free apartment in these type of neighborhoods. And let me just say this even further. It wouldn't even matter if it was a neighborhood of Caucasians that behaved like this, Asians that behave like this, Indians that behave like this, Hispanics that live like this. I wouldn't want to live in a neighborhood where people behave like that. So let's be very clear before I close out with these last 3 videos. It's the mentality that I can't stand. So he wants to point out that he doesn't like when people say black on black crime. So let me just make this clear. That mentality, I don't care who owns that mentality. If you live in neighborhoods like this, my message for this episode is to stack your money together, stay out the way. I would suggest you don't even participate in functions, because why? There's always a probability of someone from within that community behaving this way and unfortunately taking a life that didn't deserve to leave. Not to say any life deserves to leave this earth, but unfortunately you put yourself in positions. And that's not even to say this brother put himself in a position, but you have to try your best to stay out the way. If you live in a community like this, to be honest with you, just living there, you could fall victim. So there's no telling where to go, because if you go to the corner store because you're thirsty, and it wouldn't matter what time of day, because these type of things are happening all times of day. Like when I was younger, it only happened during the late hours, but now it's happening all times of the day. You have to do your best to get out of the neighborhood. I can't figure that solution out for you, because I myself and everyone else in this world are figuring out their own personal solutions. to a better life. But this stuff is just not going to stop. This is just ridiculous. This is just ridiculous. This is Keanu playing in one of the tournaments.
Hey, oh now. 20 seconds. Keanu 3-ball. Get that out there. Cheers, where we going? Hey, oh now. 20 seconds. Keanu 3-ball. Get that out there. Cheers, where we going?
And let me say, I grew up playing basketball. I love basketball. I love watching basketball. I would love to watch a basketball game, especially at nighttime. So I'm not criticizing anyone watching basketball at night and stuff like that. But this, what are we talking about? And as a matter of fact, like the news station mentioned, last year there was a shootout in the Bronx during I don't even know if it was a basketball tournament, but there were people in the park. It may have been a basketball tournament or something of that nature. And then after that, most recently, since this one that I could think of, was a young lady who I guess they were shooting a video in the Bronx somewhere, and she was also shot in the head. All right, and we're talking within the span of a few months, not even a year apart, because even the one in 2025 was a few months away. It wasn't that far off from this particular incident that I could think of. This third incident involving a park in New York City and a shooting. So with that being said, it's just like, just stay out the way. Don't even participate in functions in the community unless you're looking to stay in the community and you're looking to try to improve the community. But I salute you if you're trying to stay in the community and uplift the community. If that's all you can afford, I applaud you. This episode is not to you. I'm not trying to berate you. I wish you the best. Stay safe. But just know, if you have the ability to leave these type of neighborhoods, it is in your best interest to do so.
Niggas can't hoop in New York. Nigga got shot hooping in Kingdom for no reason. Rest in peace. Niggas can't hoop.
Hear about the 35-year-old man from Brooklyn that was shot and killed in Harlem yesterday night? The man named Keanu Rochford was shot in the head at the annual Kingdom basketball tournament. Emergency responders rushed him to Mount Sinai Morningside Hospital, but he could not be saved. Another man who was 28 years old was shot in his shin, and a woman who was 22 years old was shot in her right forearm, but they were both transported to the hospital and are in stable condition. Tragically, Keanu was the only person to lose his life. The police told New York Post that investigators believe that this shooting was connected to a personal dispute and was targeted. What led up to that dispute has not been disclosed. And as of today, the gunman remains at large and no arrests have been made. Keanu wasn't just another person in the crowd. He was a standout basketball player at Fairleigh Dickinson University, where he played from 2011 to 2013. He later played professionally across several countries in Europe and won a Lithuanian League championship in 2017. FDU remembers him as a standout knight and a leader who built a legacy at the school. He was also one of 3 triplets. And this story feels kind of personal to me, especially because I met him in real life before. I'm not going to say that me and him were like the closest or that I knew him personally, but he was always a security guard at a building next door to where I lived, and I would always see him outside. And also, my friend always used to chop it up with him, and that's how I was introduced to him in the first place. And I've been seeing this all over my timeline, and it's just really sad because a lot of people that I knew him personally. He was a real person with friends, family, and community before a moment of senseless violence ended his life. And that's the part that makes me the angriest. We keep losing people over arguments, temporary emotions, decisions that are made in a matter of seconds. One quick decision can end someone's life and permanently destroy somebody else's. Not only the person that died or the person that pulled the trigger, but also countless other people like family, friends, that completely destroys them. It traumatizes the people that witness it. I mean, that tournament had hundreds of people. Anybody could have been hit. 2 other people were hit as well. Bullets don't know who the argument was between. We constantly talk about outside forces threatening Black lives, like police and racism, and those conversations are necessary. But what about the violence in our own community? When are we going to confront that? Divide and conquer is one of the oldest tricks in the book, and it has worked throughout history and done a number on the Black community, whether it's by neighborhood, borough, ethnicity, and whatever other line we can find to be drawn between us. It's worked like a charm. They don't have to take us out because we're taking each other out. And every time we decide that another Black life is disposable, we help the system do its work. We do it for them. And why should other people value Black lives when we don't even value each other's lives? That being said, now Keanu's family has to bury him because somebody else felt like whatever dispute or whatever was going on was worth taking his life, and it wasn't. My deepest condolences to Keanu's family, friends, and loved ones. And if you know anything about the shooter, please contact the NYPD. So did y'all hear about the 35...
Listen, you should always value your life because your life is valuable. first and foremost. It should never be looking for validation or value from anyone else to value you. And if more people thought that way, we'd go far. We'd actually improve. Value yourself first. Respect yourself, respect others. You don't have to like them. No one fights anymore. We know this already. No one fights anymore. The likelihood of a knife or a gun being used in an altercation is high. It's high. It's high. Which is why when I covered the Carmelo case, which I'm not going to go into in depth now, people in the comment section was like, oh, why would he bring a knife? Because the world we live in. The world we live in. Because the world we live in. But again, rest in peace to that brother. And if you can, just leave the hood. I'm going to say one last thing. This whole thing of this snitch thing, that's another thing that I can't stand. That's a whole nother episode. And I know no one's going to agree with me. And if they do, no one's going to jump in the comments on that. But listen, if you're not living the street life, if you're not out there doing anything illegal, you're not robbing, stealing, selling narcotics, there's no reason why, if you saw who did that to that brother, you're not at least reporting it to the police officers. And you can jump in the comments and say, we don't snitch. Well, then this is why when you live there, nothing's going to get better. And if you're fine with that, then stay there. This episode is not for those people who glorify the hood and they're fine with where they're at. They're fine with seeing people get shot ever so often. If you're fine with that, then so be it. If you're fine with the potential of your family member or friends passing away, then don't be crying at the funerals. I mean, this stuff is crazy to me. And again, it might come off as I'm being judgmental, but I'm passionate because I'm just tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of seeing it. I'm tired of seeing it. As you all should be tired also, but for some reason, I guess people are not tired enough. All right? Again, if you're not contributing to the downfall of your community, there's no reason why you're not out there helping to apprehend the person that did this. Because when you don't do that, then the blood is on your hands if this person does this again to someone else. And God forbid it's someone from your family. You know, this might have been the warning shot, which is not a warning shot because a life was lost, but a warning shot to those that had saw something and said nothing. And then if this guy down the road ends up taking the life of someone close to you, you're going to remember that this moment happened and you could have said something about it. But the choice is yours. The community is yours. How you handle it is up to you. As always, I appreciate everyone who tuned in. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend to tell a friend. I drop episodes daily at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And as always, stay honorable.